So I did the unthinkable on release day of Resident Evil Requiem, and if you want to ask me if it's good, yes it was. And I would say that without a second doubt. As soon as I sat down, as soon as I sat down and pressed play, I ended up playing for fucking 14 hours. Now, so again, if you're gonna ask me if it's good, I will forever glaze this game until the day I die. I want to start off with so before I actually played Resident Evil Requiem, I started with Revelations just to sort of get in that horror sort of mood more. Well, there's a little bit of action too, but yeah, sort of to get me into the mood for Requiem, and I just want to go through some pros and some cons just about Requiem. So yeah, it grabbed me. It grabbed me for over 14 hours. I had a 14-hour session. It was fucking good. There is so much about it. There is so much about it to just love. It's perfect. So I want to start first off. I'm gonna start with the puzzles. So with the puzzles in Requiem, it's very much like Resident Evil 2, which honestly I'm personally a big fan of. So it was more of a scavenger hunt sort of thing. So you go to this corner of the map and then you grab something and then you gotta go back, then you put it together. You know what I mean? So I personally like that because it gives you the option to explore the map. And that's perfect because they put so much effort into the design of the map and getting to explore it in any Resident Evil game as well. Really good. So that was definitely a pro. I'm going to talk about Grace. Now, Grace is our new protagonist in Requiem. She, the voice actor, I know it's a big name, I can't really pronounce it, but did such a fantastic job. And I have barely seen a character with that great of a performance. It felt so real. Like it felt like you were there. She was actually panicking, and props to her for that. That she did a great job. And also with the character in general, she's a likable character. The first third of the game, you spend a lot of the percentage of time with Grace over Leon, but in the middle of the game, it completely switches. It goes from just Grace basically to just Leon in Raccoon City. And honestly, I liked that. It kept me guessing. It wasn't just split 50-50, which it basically was when you look at the whole game. But kept you guessing. I felt that was a really good thing. Now, I want to talk about Victor Gideon, the villain. Now, he's a cool villain. I think seeing the trailer a couple months ago and seeing him for the first time, I knew he'd be fucking good. The voice actor is insane. The character design, honestly, one of my favorite looking villains in any of the games. I think, yeah, he was a great villain. And I also, a little bit of a spoiler, I also liked the boss fight with him in the end, but there was someone else who I would have liked better, which I will probably go into in the pros, in the cons. So I also just now want to talk about Leon Kennedy. They took that they took that action from Resident Evil 4, which triumphed, and they added that to the new edition, which I love. I absolutely loved because when you're Grace, you feel so damn powerless. You're shuddering with a little gun, walking in the dark corridors, and then you completely swap to Leon, and it's a complete power shift. You're mowing people down with chainsaws and stuff. He's 49 years of age and he's still getting panty soaked. That's what I'm just gonna say. He was incredible as always, and that's not even a surprise because he's always incredible. So yeah, that was good. The balance between the action and the horror, I think Resident Evil did Capcom did that really well with this new one. And I've got to say, talking about the horror, it's genuinely terrifying. I felt the old girl. That was very biohazard vibes. And who doesn't want that in a Resident Evil? Because with the controversy of 5 and 6, they went back to that horror in 7 and sort of that 8 sort of thing as well. But they blended it to perfection in Requiem, and I absolutely loved that. Now, sort of a little bit of spoilers. I'll try not to go on too much, but the ending, the overall ending felt great. It felt really it just felt right. That sort of happier ending for Leon and Grace. Yeah, it just felt really good. And honestly, them two together, I loved their bond. It was sort of giving me Claire and Leon vibes from RE2, which I actually love that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go into actually one more thing. I don't know if I mentioned it yet. The visuals. The visuals of this game, it's insane. It's insanity. I'm dropping fucking bars there. Anyway, it's insanity. Especially in Renwood, that start of the game was the best introduction I've ever seen. It now they're using RE engine. They're using a new rendering sort of thing, but it looks so good. Now I actually played it. I played it on my PS5 because I know I don't have a graphics card yet, so I know my PC would not have run it well at all. It looks so real. If you sit back and if you squint your eyes, you might think it's real life. Now, walking around in that to the hotel in those sort of back streets, that atmosphere was insane, and it just remained like that throughout the game. Like it didn't get choppy towards the end or anything. It just stayed like that throughout it all. But with all that said, also I want to say the audio design. The audio design, it doesn't get talked about much, but the audio design of Requiem, as per usual in the Resident Evil franchise, I felt that to be really good. It sounds amazing as well. Looks amazing, sounds amazing. So that was absolutely terrific. Now, I want to talk about some cons here because this game was damn near perfect. It was so close to being perfect, but it is really difficult to be perfect without any cons. So, the first con I want to talk about, this is where the spoilers come, so spoiler warning. Xeno, I felt was very wasted. I found after you knock Victor off of that building, you kind of not forget about him, but also forget about him because it takes a while for him to come back. So you're actually dealing with Xeno for quite a long time, and you're seeing his move set, and you're basically preparing yourself for a fight with him. But Victor comes out of nowhere, spoiler, and let's just say humiliates him. Yes, he lost his powers because of the antivirus. I understand that, but just felt a little bit of a waste. I would have loved to see maybe even a quick fight with him. You know what I mean? But again, that's not a big deal breaker. We still got plenty of him, and he was a badass. But yeah, that's it's not a big deal. But another thing with the game, I played it in standard modern. I found the game to be quite easy. I didn't find it to be much of a challenge, which again is fine because I'm actually story driven, so I do like a bit more simplistic. But there was no times in the game where I felt I'm gonna die here until it happens. You know what I mean? I died 2 or 3 times throughout the whole playthrough, but I never felt too challenged, which again is fine because I love my story. But yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer, especially the Victor fight. I've got to say that Victor fight was the easiest fight I've ever done. So yeah, the only challenges was sort of the puzzles when I had to find my sort of way around. But yeah, if you ask me if it's good, it's really great. But yeah, so plot wise, I felt the plot was this is back to the pros because I think I've skipped it. But plot wise, it worked. It genuinely worked. Throughout the whole game, there was no parts of the game where it felt, why did they do that? That was a bit of a shitty idea. The whole game felt well written. It was one of the best written games that I think I've ever seen. So yeah, got to give a pro to that. Now, that's about it that I have for Resident Evil Requiem, but if I could recommend it to anyone, I would. Actually, one more thing. the Hunk fight towards the end of the game. I'm pretty certain it was Hunk. I know a lot of people are saying it wasn't. Same moveset, same everything. It's Hunk. But anyway, he got away, so no one has to really worry. But that fight was fucking awesome. So badass. Honestly, those two brutes just going at it, it was so cool. Another pro I also want to mention is having the Lickers return. I find the Lickers genuinely terrifying. I really like them as a sort of enemy, and that was really good. Also, just being in Umbrella Corporation, those labs once again, it's a great feeling being in there. It's honestly, that's Resident Evil. If you think about Resident Evil, yes, you got RPG and all that, but Umbrella Corporation, that's your main thing. That's where it started. So love being back there. Resident Evil 2 vibes all over. Now I want to get into Raccoon City as probably the one more thing. There was something about being in there after all that time. It gave me chills. You know, that is so fucking cool. Even if it's in rubble, it looks so damn good, and they did such a good job. I actually took a couple of screenshots from Raccoon City because it looks that amazing. So that was really good. The design was amazing. Having Mr. X return too, that was cool. I'm glad that wasn't a big thing. I'm glad that was a sort of Leon sort of closing thing. You know what I mean? It was sort of a goodbye Raccoon City kind of thing. And I personally, I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. I definitely recommend it to anyone. I will forever glaze it until I die. Maybe a lot more than other people, but did I scare you? I hope so. Anyway, I actually forgot to rate this game in my video, so 9.8 out of 10. I could even possibly give it a 10 out of 10. It's good. And I will give it the top 3 spot in the Resident Evil franchise, possibly even first in a moment. Just saying. So yeah, it's really good. That's just my personal preference. Yeah, again, would recommend it to anyone, and it was definitely worth a 14-hour session. But yeah, that's about it. I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next one.